Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special episode of Two Shot Tuesday. It is our annual Super Bowl rundown. My name is Jason Reilly. With me, as always, Barry T. Nixon, and as always for the Super Bowl rundown show, Craig Zavitz. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
Fantastic, Jay.
Yeah, fabulous. Despite that game, I'm doing fabulous.
Yeah, well, don't bury the lead yet, Craig Zavitz. We're ready. We are ready for this here show.
Nice.
Let me tell you something. This is what we call our catch and release episode. It happens every year when we do the Super Bowl. Super Bowl aired just yesterday on Sunday, February 8th. We are recording Monday, February 9th. This is fresh in our minds, and we are releasing Tuesday, February 10th. Nothing short of a miracle here at Two Shot Tuesday. Gentlemen, we have a format on this show, so why don't we get started? There's a theme tonight. Barry, why don't you start us off with our theme?
Well, the theme is sobriety, and after a very boozy weekend, it's exactly what the doctor ordered. I'm having some Nalgene water. Delicious.
Craig?
I'm having, because if we're talking football, I'm having a near beer. I'm going to have a partake pale ale. Yes.
Nice.
Fake beer.
I am having a Fuse zero sugar iced tea that I like to have on occasion. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining us once again, Craig Zavitz. Cheers.
Here, guys.
Here's what I thought we would do. We would tackle this in sequence. One is Super Bowl prep. Then we'll talk about the game itself. And then we'll touch on the halftime show. You guys okay with that format? All right. Why don't we, Craig, since you're our visiting guest here once again for this exciting episode, how did you get yourself prepped for this exciting game?
Once the Bills, my beloved Bills, lost in that heartbreaker, I went into hibernation and denial.
Yeah, for years.
I went into hiding, but I emerged. I emerged from the darkness, and I got back on the football saddle as a Seahawks one game fan. So I channeled my Patriots. We'll call it. My passion for watching them lose. Channel that.
Yeah.
Become a bit of a Seahawks fan, then. Sat back, got some great food ready. Not as good as your nachos, which I think you'll talk about soon. And then
what did you get
into it.
What did you get for your prep?
Wings. We had the kids came over. The kids wanted a Super Bowl party. So we had 13 people over here yesterday. 9 children, 9 kids. And so we did wings. We did cosmic chicken nuggets. Jason, can you believe there's cosmic chicken nuggets? We did.
What are those?
They are chicken nuggets in the shape of spaceships. They could actually buy those.
Nice.
We did that. We did wings.
Right off the chicken.
We did chips. We did all of the things that you just shouldn't feed kids at 6 o'clock at night, but we did it. And we had a great time. So yeah, amazing. Really fun event.
Nice.
Lifted our spirits.
Will you do
guys?
That again? One question. Will you do that again? Have the kids over?
Yeah. We're going to have, we do. Absolutely. It was great fun. A bunch of dads came by. So of course, you got to crack open a couple real beers.
Yeah.
And we had a good time. They just played downstairs and about 5 of us watched the game. So it was really fun. It was really fun.
Yeah. Nice.
That's how we got ready.
Barry, talk to us about how you got ready. I see a kind of mellow coming out of a busy, heavy weekend. All right.
It was a very involved weekend. Very, very involved. Prep, not really much mentally other than I too joined the Seahawks fandom for one day, but it was for a different reason. My late friend, that was his favorite sports team. And if he were with us today, he would have absolutely been thrilled at the result. So I thought, okay, even though I have a Patriots jersey, and usually that's how it shakes out for me, whatever garment I have of the team appearing in the big game is the one that I will root for, obviously. But this time I didn't. I went for the Seahawks. In terms of food, we did a chili and we did some bacon-wrapped jalapeno poppers, a couple beers. My friend Chris Whitby, friend of ours, friend of the show, came by. And there were no kids and no other dads. It was perfect. It was exactly the kind of place I wanted to watch with adults only. No screaming except from us. And that's, sometimes it's fun to hear grown men scream.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that going on, especially during the halftime, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. Now, this is your famous chili, isn't this? Your famous?
Oh, it's world famous.
Yeah.
World famous, Jay. Yeah.
All right. What's the one secret ingredient that you can tell our listeners and viewers?
Love.
Nice. Well done. Okay.
That's
all
it.
right. Well, let me touch on what
down.
I was with executive producer Aldo Roma. We decided we were going to do, I had to check in with both of you at multiple times leading up to the game to find out who was playing in the game. I couldn't seem to keep that in my head and did have to look it up prior to the game, but I did watch, and we both did. We did nachos, And not just any nachos. We went to the Whole Foods and we got the higher end Mad Mexican nacho chips, nice thin nacho chips. We got their organic shredded three cheese blend that we put on that, put some chili flakes on that, and had ourselves a great nacho dinner. And then we followed that up with some cake that we had bought there, some little individual cakes. So we had some of that. Neither of us finished our individual cakes. We'll be finishing those tonight, but we got those started. And so we had a little savory, a little sweet to get us into the game.
So wait, you each had your own individual cake?
Yeah, they're in little plastic containers at the Whole Foods. Yeah, individual sections. So you had a slice of cake, and mine was more like a parfait. There was like whipped cream, some cake crumbles, some topping. It was delicious, and I look forward to the rest of it today. So the party continues.
Great. Yeah. Sounds very decadent, Jay. Exactly what one would expect at the mini mansion.
Mexican, by the way. That's
great chips.
That was a 10 out of 10 in my books, right off the top there.
Yeah, and they make good salsa too.
Yeah, we didn't do that. We didn't do the salsa, but we did have Frank's red hot sauce I put on top of the done chips and chips and cheese. Try it. Frank's red hot sauce. The wing sauce. Wing sauce
on nachos. My God, you're inventing stuff all the time, Jay.
I tell you.
This is cool.
All right. Why don't we do shot number 2 and talk about the game? Craig, what have you got for us? We know what it is.
I'm gonna go blue menu, lime sparkling water. I'm switching it up. See that?
Nice.
Beautiful.
Well done.
A little audible.
Barry?
I'm sticking with the water. I'm hitting the iron after this, so got to stay hydrated.
All right, and I'm going to stick with the fuse. Cheers. Let's talk about this game. Craig, you kind of tipped your hat to what you felt of the game, but why don't you kick us off? What were your views on this game?
3 things, guys. Okay. First off, you had to really love football to appreciate this game. It was 12-0 after 3 quarters. I think it was pretty defensive, and the Seahawks defense, they dominated the Patriots. Sacked MVP runner-up Drake May 6 times, forced 3 turnovers. So that was my first thing, obvious thing, right? If you watch the game, the defense was incredible. Sam Darnold's redemption tour, he was drafted high by the Jets and discarded by multiple teams, and has made his way to be the only 2018 quarterback to win a Super Bowl. And there's a lot of elite quarterbacks from 2018. Jason, I know you're a big fan of that draft class. So Josh Allen, obviously, is a 2018. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, some pretty big names coming out of 2018. My third big thing, this is interesting. I thought the kicker should have won the MVP myself, Barry. I don't know how you felt. He kicked 5 field goals. First time a kicker has ever kicked that many field goals, but you can't give a kicker the MVP. So it went to a running back, and it's only the 8th running back ever to win a Super Bowl MVP. And that was the 6th Super Bowl. So a little bit of crack research from my intern to help me with that one.
Nice.
But I thought, it was nothing but Seahawks news. There was nothing the Patriots did that's really, really newsworthy, other than they just got obliterated. Just lopsided game. If you like watching the Patriots lose, it was a lot of fun. But I think that somehow they've silently assembled this team of killer defenders, and they were just unstoppable. Patriots had no answers. I don't know. What do you think, Barry?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. They had no answers. I also found myself, and I do love football very much, but I found myself distracted at times, let's just say, during the, and like you said, it was a whole bunch of field goals. I didn't realize that a kicker could never win an MVP. Is that true?
That's just my hot take. I don't think they'd ever give it to him, but he should have. I thought he was probably the most important player on the field for the first 3 quarters.
For sure. Yeah. If he wasn't there, Seahawks wouldn't have had those 12 points. It was it was a bit of a snooze fest. I got to be quite honest with you. I'm glad that I was buzzed and with a full belly and had a friend over, because there were multiple times I just turned my head away from the screen and I didn't look back for what seemed like, 10 to 15 minutes. Getting up, taking walks around the apartment. That's Jay's strategy.
That's my move.
That I employed.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good move, Jay. It actually helped.
Get steps in?
Get the steps in, help to aid in the digestion. Like I said, that beefy chili was pretty hearty, so it would help to, keep things moving. But yeah, the game, I just wasn't as engaged. Also, as much as I was rooting for a team because of a personal reason, I still found myself bored. I just have to say it. And I do love football, but I just was like, man, this is not as exciting. It was kind of tough.
If you think about some of the exciting Super Bowls we've covered, Jason and Barry, on your show, we had the Rams over the Bengals. Remember that one? We had KC over Philly. We had KC over San Fran. We've had some thrillers.
Yeah.
Yes, thrillers. Yeah.
And then we had the snooze fest. Now, actually, it
was.
Greatest game I've ever seen, guys. Greatest game I've ever seen.
Come
I
on.
love a defensive matchup. No, I don't. I don't. I really don't.
Yeah.
I was,
you'd be excited.
just to kind of get all three of us in there. Yeah, I was in the same boat. Now, executive producer Aldo Roma and I did, typically we watch TV downstairs in the living room. We went upstairs into the back room because we wanted to watch it in 4K. So, Barry, I hope you had your 4K channel on.
Of course. And it's worth noting that this is the first time that I know that TSN actually had the full 4K feed. It wasn't just up converted from another source. It's about time that they only have one 4K channel. It's about time that they used it to broadcast the biggest game in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. It's usually poker or curling or something.
Darts. Yeah, the game looked fantastic. It just wasn't, the content wasn't quite as stimulating as the images. You know what I mean?
But the threads on the uniforms. Craig Zavitz, over to you.
I thought my highlight for the first half was Brandi Carlile singing God Bless America. I thought she was, that's how
I missed it.
Absolutely boring the game was.
Yeah.
I thought she was amazing.
I caught up on my Superman and the Justice League graphic novel on my iPad. So just to let you know where I spent some time on that, reading that while the game was on, because the nachos were definitely the highlight for me, and the cake was also there as well.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of the game. That's the game. Did any of us, I guess, Barry, you were the closest, in winning the score. I had a 35-24. Craig, you were
I was 21-19, but I don't think we're really anywhere close to that. Were we?
No, we weren't.
I mean, yeah. And no Super Bowl has ever finished in 21-19 in the 60 years of the game's history. So that's why I felt pretty good about that prediction.
Nice. All right. But let's talk about, as we always do, the halftime show. This is usually where I shine, but the halftime show for me also featured a performer that I didn't know a lot about, Bad Bunny. But Craig?
Not to mention not understanding what he said. So that left a lot of people scratching their heads, I think.
Yeah. What did you think, Craig? Let's start with you.
I had no idea what he was singing about, but the set was amazing. The energy was fun. I loved it. I actually really enjoyed it. I know I was on some text change with some friends who did not like it, but I loved it. And I have no idea what the songs were about.
How about the kids? How were the kids in the house?
The kids all were downstairs at that point, completely lost focus. My 14-year-old son, though, he liked it a lot. But he didn't know who Bad Bunny was. He thought it was cool.
Nice.
I said, remember when Bruce Springsteen did the halftime show? And he just sort of looked at me like I was crazy. So clearly the halftime show was not for me. It was for the younger generation, Jason, let's just say. But I thought it was great. What do you guys think?
Jay, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. You know what I found Bad Bunny was? He was like a concierge. You were kind of walking around. He was kind of walking you around the stage, and he would introduce you to certain people. So there's Lady Gaga, and she did, I thought, a great job with her bit. Then you go to Ricky Martin, who was, the butt of jokes for a while, for many years. I think we all got to admit that guy's got a set of pipes on him, and he really sang.
And he looked good.
He
looked
great.
Yeah,
he looks great. He sings amazing. So he did a good job. And I think Bad Bunny did a good, he talk sings kind of thing. And then he climbed up on stuff and he fell on things. It was like a pratfall. It was like the Dick Van Dyke Show. That's for all the boomers out there.
God.
That was my Bad Bunny. But I enjoyed it for what it was, which was sort of this concierge walk around and introduction, kind of like the Lawrence Welk meets the modern day. Barry, what do you think? Last word on Bad Bunny.
Man, you have so many boomer references in your rant there. It's amazing. I love it. And finishing with Lawrence Welk is killer. Yeah, typically the Super Bowl halftime show is reserved for the older acts, which is they went against it this year because Bad Bunny is still relevant, very much so.
Yeah.
He's not on his farewell tour. He's still selling out arenas around the world. But, I would have preferred it. He was singing in English. I mean, that's just my personal preference when it comes to listening to music. I prefer hearing my own language, but it was a bold choice and no one had ever done that before. So he'll be remembered certainly for that. But yeah, I agree with you. There was a lot of walking around. I did like the sets, the grass. I didn't really understand him climbing up on stuff and pretending to that he was hanging himself, or some of the dancers were. It was a bit weird.
He on a telephone pole?
They were hanging upside down with one foot. So I was like, what is that? What are they doing?
They went up a telephone pole, and I was sort of trying to figure out what the point of
I
the.
thought he was fixing the Wi-Fi in the stadium. I think he
Was
might
that
have
what?
been
Yeah,
doing
maybe
that.
that's what it was.
You know,
Right. Well, it's a new stadium. The fact that they had to fix it already is sad comment on Levi Stadium. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it was okay.
It was okay.
I would go ahead and give it an okay, but I did not. It was certainly one that I'll forget faster than some of the other ones we've seen.
Did you like it versus last year? Kendrick Lamar was last year, right? Did you
I
prefer
thought
this?
Kendrick did a good job. I don't know. I mean, the surprises, like Lady Gaga, I don't think she was supposed to show up, or Ricky Martin. So those, kind of fun to have some surprises.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
I liked it
okay.
as much as Kendrick Lamar, maybe a little bit more, because I also don't know Kendrick Lamar songs. So whether you're singing in English or Spanish, I just don't know the songs anyway. So I couldn't, either way, could I really get into them? But
sure.
That was kind of my view as well on Bad Bunny. How about you, Craig? How do you stack it up with Kendrick Lamar? And why should we? I don't know
what? I actually think I preferred it to Kendrick Lamar because I thought the set was just vibrant and colorful and visually interesting and upbeat. And I would say of all the halftime shows we've evaluated, we think with The Weeknd or Rihanna, I was up there for just talkability. That's all everyone was talking about today on Sports Talk Radio, I found. And then there was the alternate halftime show, Kid Rock, which was running I don't know if you heard about that story. The conservative media empire down south had an alternate halftime show for those that wanted their rock and roll. So that would have been entertaining to have watched. I just read about it. But it got the Super Bowl. Hey, NFL has 18 games next year. I think they have 18 games in the next few years going to be overseas. They're playing in Australia. They signed a contract. They're going to play in Paris. So they want international audiences. So this is the hook.
Nice. Yeah. Well, Craig, thank you for being here to wrap up this season. And we hope you'll be here with us next season to be able to talk about this incredible hook. And as the NFL continues to go global. Gentlemen, as always, another successful Super Bowl wrapped up. Let's hope next year's a little bit more exciting. And maybe Oasis will do that halftime show just like Barry, you and I predicted earlier this year, and still think
we did
that is a great job, that is a great idea for them to pursue.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks, Craig. Have a great night, everybody.
See you, Craig.
See you next week.
Thank you for listening to Two Shot Tuesday. The show is produced by Barry and I and edited by me. If you have yet to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, please take a second to do so now. It helps us grow, and it helps new audiences to find the show. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Two Shot Tuesday, and on Twitter at Two Shot Tuesday Podcast. Stop by, give us a follow, leave us a comment, and share your favorite episodes. If you have a question you'd like featured on the show, you can send us a text at 647-486-4848. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.